All right, y'all. GMOG Sports TV back at y'all with another one. So, Tony Harrison versus Jermell Charlo 2 going down this weekend, this Saturday PBC card. Um, I'm in for this fight. It's gonna be a great fight. I'm very excited for this rematch. The build up to it is very entertaining, man. Tony Harrison, this dude Tony Harrison from Detroit, he got that Detroit swag. He reminds me. I don't know if y'all see the movie by Martin Lawrence. Maybe if you black and you watch Martin, then you watched the movie. There's a movie by Martin called A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. Now there was a character, and he was actually on a few episodes in Martin too. But I should have pulled up a clip. But there was a character in that movie that reminds me of Tony Harrison to a T. I think he played like Martin's no. one of Martin's ex-girlfriend's brothers. And it reminds me of that dude on that movie, man, for some reason. Just very, I guess it's that Detroit swag, or I don't know, man. Something about these Detroit dudes wearing these Cartier glasses and shit. The way they talk and all that shit. It's just, it gets to people, especially dudes like Jermell, the Charlo twins, man. Them dudes, very emotional, you know. The face-off was hilarious. Tony Harrison, man, he can say just the most subtle things, and it will piss Jermell Charlo off. Like, he would get just visibly upset. Like, fucking Tony Harrison called Jermell. He's like, man, you a sucker. You a sucker. And Jermell was like, what makes me a sucker? Everything. That was hilarious, man. Oh, man. But that, you know what I'm saying? That had me rolling. But yeah, very entertaining. As far as the mental edge in this fight, I mean, you got to give it up to Tony Harrison, man. He from Detroit. He got the swag from Detroit. He embodies Detroit. You know what I'm saying? He just embodies how the, you know, the representation of Detroit. That's someone like Tony Harrison. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to know how Detroit dudes act, how they're supposed to act, Tony Harrison to a T. So the mental edge definitely goes to Tony Harrison. I mean, he's living in, like he says, he's living in Charlo's head, rent free, I should say. Just all up in his head, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I watched the fight several times. You know, just got it in the background playing. And people saying it's a robbery that you know, Charlo lost the fight. I thought it was a clear landslide. I thought, you know, as far as breaking the fight down, Charlo was just basically looking to load up. All he was doing, trying to load up with the right hand. You know, he was fighting like Wilder, basically, just not as wild, but at times he was chopping and looping with the right hand, telegraphing the right hand a lot, while Tony Harrison was fighting off the back foot, looking to counter, you know what I'm saying, looking to, you know, his lead left foot, Harrison's lead left foot was giving Charlo a lot of trouble, which is why he was throwing looping telegraph punches. You know what I'm saying? The way Tony Harrison fights is irritating to a fighter like Jermell Charlo, who's looking to load up on power shots. And you can't do that with a slick counter puncher who fights off the back foot like Tony Harrison. You can't do that. If he comes with that mindset, especially for a guy like Jermell Charlo, who relies on power, relies on trying to get guys out of there, loading up on shots, and not trying to let the knockout come naturally. That's what he's looking for, and that's what he said in the face-off. He's looking to knock him out. He doesn't want the fight to go to the judges. And, you know, as far as Jermell, the Charlos in general, but specifically Jermell, because Jermell is more, he's not as tame as his brother, who's in 160. Jermall. He's not, when I say tame, he has, Jermall has more controlled aggression. Like, Jermell would allow his opponents to get to his head and fight emotionally and just fight recklessly, and that's what happened in the first fight. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to load up on shots too much, and that's how he lost the fight. He just got outboxed. You know what I'm saying? And with that mindset, you know, especially leading up to the fight where you allow Tony Harrison to ridicule you, to get into your head, to call you emotional, and your response is, oh, it's just passion. Like your rebuttals, the way you're rebuttaling Tony Harrison pretty much exposes how you are. You know what I'm saying? And especially during that press conference when you lost the fight, you were talking about, oh, you know, I don't like to lose. I don't even play video games. But I don't like to lose and stuff like that. That's very questionable. Like, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, as far as this fight, breaking this fight down, you know, I see it going a couple of ways. The first way is, you know, it could end up the same way as the first fight was, where Tony Harrison pretty much outboxes Jermell and just lands the more cleaner punches, lands more consistent punches. You know what I'm saying? It may not be the pretty, you know, hurting shots, right? Like that's what Jermell is trying to look for. He's looking for the shots to get you out of there. Jermell's looking to, Tony Harris is looking to outpoint you and you know, make you pay based off of the mistakes you made by throwing shots. He's looking to counter. You know what I'm saying? Basically stick and move, box, fight off the back foot. You know what I'm saying? If you get too reckless, tie you up, clinch, and keep it moving like that. You know what I'm saying? And if it goes like that, it's going to be a clear landslide for Tony Harrison. You know, as far as Jermell, he still has a puncher's chance. Everybody has a puncher's chance. But because of the fact that he is athletic, if he stays poised and tries to work the jab, his jab is okay. Tries to work the jab and not rushing in looking for the knockout. You know, stay poised. Don't fall into Tony Harrison traps, because Tony Harrison is a very, you know, his IQ is underrated. You know what I'm saying? Especially for fighting guys like Jermell Charlo, who basically rely on power and are front foot fighters. You know what I'm saying? Jermell, you know, if you allow him and he stays patient and he sets up his shots and picks his shots correctly, he can possibly stop Tony Harrison, right? So it can go two ways. But I am leaning towards Tony Harrison for the rematch, to win the rematch. And I think that, you know, Tony Harrison pretty much is too much for Jermell. I think his movement, his angles, you know, his counter-punching ability, fighting off the back foot. This again, we all know the old adage, styles make fights. The style for Tony Harrison is just not for Jermell Charlo. He's just not. It's just not. And I think Tony Harrison will win the rematch by outpointing him again. And I think it's going to be more decisive this time than it was before. I think it's going to be even more decisive this time. You know what I'm saying? That's my pick. You know, I'm going for Tony Harrison again by points and just winning the fight. I would say, I don't know, 9 rounds to 3, 8 rounds to 4, something like that. So I'll give Jermell 3 or 4 rounds. And that's being nice. That's being nice. So I'm picking Tony Harrison to win on a rematch. We'll see what happens, man. You know, this is boxing. Anything can happen. You know, everybody can have wrong picks, but I'm picking Tony Harrison on points. So we'll see what happens, family. All right, those are my thoughts on that. That's the fight breakdown and prediction. If you're new to subscribe, GMOGSportsTV, family. You already know what it is. All right, family. GMOG Sports signing out. Peace.